Welcome. I'm Jamie Tyler, your energy esthetician, and this is the Love Aligned podcast. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about soul contracts. I do talk a lot to my clients about soul contracts, and I don't go into a lot of detail, and I probably won't go into a lot of information here either, but I'm going to go over some basic information like what is it, what is the agreement, and as far as my belief and what I believe it is. So what is a soul contract, right? Soul contracts, they are actual agreements that we enter into pre-birth. So before this contract is created, your spirit guides empower you to decide which life lessons and scenarios that you're going to enable your soul to evolve. So you choose the timeline, the people you will meet, and the experience, all of it. It's super cool to me. So I know that there's these lessons in life that we learn, and sometimes we're like, why would I choose this, right? Like there's no way I would have chosen this life or whatever it may be. But honestly, I mean, we do choose the timeline, the people we'll meet, and the experiences. So basically, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. And in this life, what you're experiencing now is just one small chapter in your soul journey. So it's simply an agreement made between souls to have shared experience with one another in the physical. There are no winners, there's no losers. The contracts you create are mutually beneficial to all parties involved. So a soul contract is a non-physical agreement made on the soul level of your consciousness. You just create them most often between members of your soul family and a soul group before you are born into a physical body, okay? So they can detail all kinds of aspects about your life. A soul contract is just a binding agreement between one or more souls. So it's an exchange of energy by way of fulfilling different roles and functions for one another. So by doing so, you just create shared learning experiences. But these contracts aren't always positive. So in fact, they're designed to create challenges, but ones that will help you grow on the soul level. The whole point of these agreements is that they will provide some form of lesson, okay, that you can integrate and take forward with you. The primary purpose of these contracts, as well as keeping order between souls, is personal accountability, okay? They keep you honest on your journey and ensure that you do what you say that you're going to do. So they're meant to encourage your personal progress, because the fulfillment of soul contracts is ultimately like how you raise your vibration. And the more wisdom you're able to walk away with, the more you'll be able to act from your highest good. So who do we form soul contracts with, right? It would make complete sense that we would form soul contracts with our family members or our lovers and the people who are most prominent in our life. After all, I mean, these are the people who teach us the most, right? So it's also true that we form soul contracts with people who are in our life very briefly. It is still possible that these people can actually teach us soul-enhancing lessons. So the wise old man who shared some stories, on a plane to maybe New York or California or to London, right? The babe at the bar that you talked to, or the hot guy that you met who tempted you to maybe cheat on your girlfriend or boyfriend, or take that drink you shouldn't have taken. Maybe the person who stole valuable belongings from your home, like the burglar, these are just examples of soul contracts that taught us something, okay? Soul agreements and renegotiations, right? So we do have agreements, but we also have renegotiations. So soul agreements, they aren't intended to be too restrictive or set in stone based on belief that free choice is attached to human life. I mean, contractually speaking, it may be believed that soul agreements have built in, I should say like out clauses, because one's best made plans and goals don't always work out in life, right? And neither do larger spiritual goals. The spiritual being doesn't always have realistic mentality that incarnated humans are faced with on a daily basis. Soul agreements are often renegotiated behind the scenes, so throughout our lifetime, to adjust situations so that disrupt our original ideological scenarios, for example, right? So soul agreements are sometimes based on tough love. So for example, let's say like a soul wants to experience rejection or abandonment or another like difficult emotion in human form. Another soul may agree to take on that role of the nemesis to invoke this type of experience. In the eyes of an enemy, a friendly soul may be looking lovingly back, okay? Here's how a soul contract is beneficial. Soul contracts help with healing. Soul contracts show us where we need healing. They show us our weakness and the journey we need to take to become stronger. They encourage us to be our best and to live our best life. Striving for greatness in our lifetime is the most effective way to aid our soul's ascension. So to raise our vibrations and to ascend, with the biggest goals come the biggest challenges to overcome, though. So just know that. So when we have our biggest challenges are and we're overcoming these, this is our biggest goals are coming, right? So from birth, you're fed with the energy of love and fear. And on this planet, like on Earth, so society conditions us to live in constant fear. It remains that this negative emotion can be overpowered by the energy of love. And with this belief that all negative events and all the other souls are your teachers, you'll hopefully be inspired to react with love instead of fear. And when you embrace the power of love, you'll be filled with positivity and become far more pleasant to be around. So they raise your consciousness. When we become aware that life is more than what we consciously experience, it actually raises our vibrations as well. So we stop living in this autopilot. We feel more positive about the world around us. We become more aware of how to control our thoughts and emotions. We become better at raising other people's vibrations as well. So they encourage you to listen to your soul. So I guess you could call it listening to your heart or your gut, or just going with your gut, right? Either way, when you follow that inner voice, you tend to feel tremendously fulfilled. It's these people who are most excited to get out of bed every morning. They're just like, they know what they want to do. They listen to their heart. They're listening to their inner knowing. They just know what's happening there. They're feeling their vibrations, and they just know this ascension is happening. And fleeting individuals who can leave a lasting imprint on your soul, like these are the people that you definitely want to be around. You know that these are part of your soul family who will help you ascend. When our soul contract is up with a person, I'm going to tell you this because this is important. A lot of people are like, people are falling away from me. I'm losing this friend. You know, this happens a lot in our life. We feel alone, right? So when a soul contract is up with somebody or with a person or a certain person, you'll feel alone. You'll fall away from people. You'll feel lost. And it's because we don't understand what's happening. It just seems like they're falling away from us. You could be really close with them one minute, and then it's like they're a stranger the next. It happens with new people we meet, friends, and sometimes even family. We can also turn it around, though, and choose to keep that relationship after our contract is up. It just is different, and it changes. So with time, though, it does get better. It's just being patient through the process and understanding what happened. So it can be, like I said, with strangers or family or friends. So we could have friends that we've had forever, and we just feel like things are changing and we're just not as close as we used to be. Or even family, just something has happened and we're not as close as we used to be. It could have been somebody came in between the family, or you know what I mean? And we had this relationship before and now we don't. But then it'll always come back. You have to trust it. It was just something that it taught us at that time, and that contract is now up. And you can still choose to be part of that and just be patient with it and just understand the process and what happened and how it's happening. And this happens to a lot of us. And it's personally happened in my life with my family and my friends. So if you trust the process and just be patient with it and just understand it, those friends will come back. That family will come back. And you just have to understand it was a lesson. The contract's up, but you can bring it back. You can choose to understand it differently and keep that relationship after without the contract. It's super amazing. And you'll see the relationship change for the better because there's no contract behind it anymore. So if you look back through your life and make a timeline, you can start to understand what it all means. For instance, the one who came into your life at certain times. So you could have friends that come in and out of your life, or just one person that came into your life at a certain time. What did they bring you? What lessons were learned? Or how did they make you feel? Were they here to help to bring you up or get you out of a dark time? Did they help get your business going or your relationship even better and then just leave? And just say this was the case. After they did what was their part of the contract, did you fall away from each other, no longer see each other? Or were they still part of your life, but was it different? When things like this happen and relationships change, it's because the contract has ended and you got what you were supposed to from it. Okay? And it's okay. Now that we talked about, though, what a soul contract is, let's go over if we can break it. Because sometimes we can feel like people are bad in our lives and we just don't want that. And this could be part of a soul contract we kind of want to break, right? So say, for example, you are caught in a toxic relationship or friendship or family relationship. It could be romantic, even a coworker. It could, and like I said, friendship, family member, it doesn't matter. You just know that it's destructive. Your communication's just always continuous, and just being with them is stressful. But you have this unspoken bond or familiarity that keeps you attached to them in an unhealthy way, right? So that's why breaking this energy you have with this person is the only way to find freedom and peace in your life. These are the steps to break this emotional soul contract. Okay, so one is you want to identify why you are connected to that person. For example, am I in a romantic relationship, or is this just a friendship, or am I in are we employed together, right? And then identify how it feels to be in that relationship. Like I feel like I'm suffocating, or whatever it may be. Take your time with this next step. Identify the contract you have with this person. For example, like maybe you feel like you're responsible for their happiness, or you sacrifice your happiness for their comfort. What is this? Why? And just identify it. Now decide the intensity of the contract by picking a material to represent its weight in your life, such as paper, leather, steel, stone, or whatever. Okay? And then finally, with a tool like scissors or a knife or a hammer, destroy the contract completely. And it seems so, I don't know, some people say weird. I'll tell people to do this and they're just like, what? And I'm like, just do it. It works. So just follow those steps and you can break that contract. Even though we are connected to everyone at all times, this doesn't mean that you have to maintain that soul contract. It's the contract you decided to have to learn whatever was needed on a subconscious level. That may be keeping you from ending the relationship, right? But when you know how to break a soul contract through the knowledge of your energetic power, then you can release yourself from these relationships and find freedom and peace to move forward. So remember, you have every right to not believe in soul contracts, right? Because there's people that don't. So remember, you do have every right not to believe in soul contracts. There is no physical evidence of them existing in the real world, after all, right? No one knows the truth. None of us. However, if you do believe in soul contracts, you are likely to benefit from the inner peace and fulfillment. The belief in fulfilling your soul contract may inspire you to live the richest and most interesting life. So it'll embolden you to let go of fear and face life's challenges head on and to become a stronger person by doing so. So you should find it easier to subscribe to the belief that the universe has your back and that everything happens for your own good. This makes it easier to stay calm and relaxed in times of tragedy. You should also be more open to learning from bad circumstances that occur in your life, right? And then when you are more open to learning from bad circumstances that occur in your life, instead of dismissing them as bad luck, you actually heal from that. So the soul contract narrative will make it easy for you to forgive a person that has wronged you and to have more compassion for others. So whether soul contracts are real or not, these beliefs will help you to a more fulfilling and happier life. So whether you believe in them or not, it's interesting and amazing. I personally believe that we have soul contracts. It makes sense to me why certain things in my life have happened the way that they have. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's an amazing concept of some of the lessons that I have personally learned in my life and the things that I have gone through in my life. So I am for it. However, there is no physical evidence of it existing, but there's no physical evidence of a lot of things existing that we believe in, and that's okay. But it's a beautiful thing if you do believe in it. But I do challenge you to sit with yourself and think about some of these things and look at your life and make a timeline and see if you can understand, like, for instance, like who came into your life at certain times and what lessons did they bring you, and see if it starts connecting these dots for you. And if you feel like you have somebody in your life and you want to break this emotional soul contract, go through those steps and break it and see if it works for you and makes sense for you, okay? But really go into it for yourself, and I just think you'll find healing with it if it's something that you are into or want to start believing in. But it's very healing either way, and this is what this is about, is healing all the way through and just learning and different concepts of it. But I really appreciate you tuning in. So thanks again for joining your energy esthetician on the Love Aligned podcast, and tune in for next week's show. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Love Aligned Podcast. Click on the link in my bio, like, subscribe, comment, and ring that bell. You can also private message me if you need remote or in-person healing. You can email me at lovealignedpodcast@gmail.com for questions as well. Have a beautiful day and happy healing.